Welcome to the Profitable Farmer Podcast, where it's all about increasing the profitability of your farm by working smarter, not harder. And now your host, business expert, Andrew Roberts.
G'day there, Andrew Roberts here, and today I'm going to dive into this topic, could your money beliefs or your beliefs around money be holding you back? Not sure how much you've really studied the power of the brain, but the brain learns so much of so much of our personalities form between the ages of really 0 to 5, and it's influenced by everything going on around us in our environments, and of course our parents have a major influence on our development and particularly our core belief system. And so today I'm going to talk to you about the impact that might have had on you and how that might be playing out in your life today. Before I dive into that though, I thought I'd start with I'm going to call it an embarrassing story, but it's definitely funny and at my expense. But I've always been very open-minded, and I believe things very easily. So someone can say something to me and I'll just take it at face value and I'll believe it. I've always been like that and I'm still like that. I don't know why, but I'm very gullible. There's no doubt about it. So I just thought I'd share this story with you. When I was at university, I was in my first year at uni, so I'm 18 years of age, and I was living in a house with a group of mates, and we're all sitting around having dinner one particular evening, and I knew we were approaching holidays. Like we're literally 3 days away from going on holidays. And I was sitting around the table and I asked my mates who had a cure for dandruff. And at this particular, I'd never experienced it, but living up in Brisbane, I was finding I was getting dry skin and a dry scalp. And so I had some dandruff and I wanted to fix it. Yeah, I know. I told you it was going to be a bit embarrassing, but it doesn't matter. So I asked this question, and one of my mates perked up. His name's Sam Coverdale. If you're listening to this, Coverdale, I'll tell you what, you still have your reply coming to this, but Sam goes, mate, yep, I've got the perfect solution. And I said, okay, well, what is it? And he said, what you need to do is you need to go and buy 500 grams or half a kilogram of butter. And you need to put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds and then put it in your hair and leave it for about 24 hours. And he said, mate, guarantee that will fix your dandruff. And he just said it with this calm, confident voice. And of course, I believed this. And so I drove back to New England from Brisbane in the holidays. 3 days later, I drove all the way back up to home, about a 7-hour trip. And because I grew up in Uralla, and I'm at the farm. And I remember arriving during shearing, and I popped over to the sheds and said good day to Dad and all the workers. And I came back home and anyway, looked in as you do when you go home. I opened up the fridge just to check to see what amazing food Mum had in store for us. And there I noticed a 500 gram butter. And so I thought, well, never a better time. Now's the time to do this. So I grabbed the 500 gram, put it in the microwave, 30 seconds, whacked it in my hair. And anyway, my hair's slicked back. I must have looked ridiculous, but I'm sitting out in the living room, and I remember this so clearly because Dad came home it was afternoon tea. And he walked in the door and just went, what the hell is in your hair? And I just looked up and I just went, butter. And Dad goes, why the hell have you got that in your hair? And I just said, well, it's to fix my dandruff. And Dad just looked at me and shook his head and just goes, you've been had. That's all he could say. And anyway, I ignored him. And we're sitting at dinner that night, and I'm sitting there with this slick back butter in my hair. And I just had my mates saying in his head, you got to see this out for 24 hours. So I went to bed that night with this butter in my hair, and it was the most uncomfortable night's sleep. Went through the whole night, woke up the next morning, and my scalp was so sore And I was smelly. Like, it was quite disgusting when I think back on it. But so I knew at this particular stage that my dad was actually correct, that I'd been had. So I actually went into the shower and washed this out, and I was so angry it covered up. But no, it didn't fix my dandruff, and I was absolutely had. And I wanted to share that just for the, if you like, the susceptibility that we can have, right? We can take things for granted. Actually, some people take this often too far and become very skeptical later on in life, and that can also have the opposite effect. But I wanted to share that because I wanted to talk about these beliefs that we can pick up when we're early in life. And so many of these beliefs um, can be holding you back later in life. And in fact, most of our success today is a result of our subconscious, not our conscious, which it's our unconscious, which is the part of the brain that you and I can't see. It's ingrained. It's almost like we forget about it. It's like a command that goes into the brain, and it goes from the left-hand side over into the right-hand side, and it actually runs our lives. And a belief is something, if we look at what's a belief is something that's not necessarily true, but we take it as truth, as gospel. And we take it because our parents have said it over and over again, or school has said it. And we find things in our lives to reinforce that belief. And these beliefs can become very, very limiting, and can hold all of us back. And so in this podcast today, I wanted to talk about some of the negative beliefs that you may have experienced when you were young. I certainly had a number of these. And then I wanted to talk about really the negative beliefs around money. And then I wanted to talk about the facts around money. I've written down some notes here. And then I want to talk about, well, how do we fix these beliefs? You know, what are the positive beliefs that we want to have around money, and how can we actually remove these? And I wanted to start off by saying, it really doesn't matter what you consciously do. If you've got a subconscious or an unconscious negative belief around money, or a negative belief around around you as a person, like you might not believe in yourself, that it doesn't matter what you do consciously, it doesn't matter how hard you work, you can be sabotaged by this, and this can be significantly holding you back. And you may not even be aware of it. In fact, some people can go their entire life unaware of these negative beliefs. And it's really unfortunate, because the person you may mean so well, but because of this negative belief that maybe a parent installed in you, or school, it's very, very difficult to get ahead. And these negative beliefs can cause you a lot of negative emotions. So a lot of anger. It can cause you a lot of stress and anxiety. It can cause a lot of fights with your partner. And it can really stop you from I think, living a really happy and successful life. So let's firstly look at, what is a belief? Well, as I mentioned earlier, it's something that you hold to be true. It doesn't mean it's necessarily correct. It just means that you hold it to be true. Now, some of these negative beliefs that you may have around money, I'm going to read these out. So some people believe that money is evil. Money is the root of all evil. It's sad, but this is a lot of very heavily religious views, which is not necessarily true. It's just a point of view that's been derived, and it can be passed down through the generations. Here's some other ones. Money is hard to make. Money comes in one hand, out the other. Money is hard to make in agriculture and from farming. Money is impossible to make in farming. This is a big one. You have to work hard to make money. Money comes in one hand, out the other. Money is scarce. It's hard to get ahead. Money doesn't grow on trees. There isn't enough money. I won't have enough money later on in life. I'd rather be happy than rich. These are negative beliefs around money. Or I don't need money. people will actually often justify why they don't need or want money. I don't care for money. And it's often these little sayings that we say on the fly that actually cause a number of issues for you. And I wanted to really point this out. Even if you're having a fight about money with your partner and you're saying, oh, we don't make enough, or we've got to be more careful with money, or we don't have enough money, all these conversations are often a negative money belief that you may be carrying. And the point I want to make is it's not your fault. You were most likely surrounded when you were young by parents that had this money mindset. And then many of us went off to schools, and the teachers had these money mindsets, and the teachers were dropping these sayings in, if you like. Money doesn't grow on trees, or you have to work hard to make money, and money comes in one hand, out the other. And so what happens over time is these are repeated, and we believe them. And then we carry these beliefs, our entire life, and then it sabotages or stops you getting ahead. And so money is amazing because people have more hang-ups around money than all these other areas in our lives. Like, it's amazing how many emotions can be created by the topic of money. There's so many fights and anger around money. If there's a feeling that there's not enough money around, it can cause a lot of anxiety, depression, irritability. How much stress can be created because of money? When you think about it, it's just it really is quite a controlling energy. And the key word there is it creates a lot of emotions, and these emotions is energy in motion, right? It's not real, but it just creates this tension within the body. And this is a really interesting one for farmers, because farmers, you're on such a curve of years when it seems to flow, and other years when it's a little bit more scarce because of weather or commodity prices or whatever it is. So for you actually probably experience these emotions more than others. And I think a lot of farmers maybe put themselves under a lot more anxiety and stress because of these money beliefs that really aren't true. And there's the good news is you can work on these, and you can change these, and you can let a lot of these go. And this can have a tremendous impact on your life when you firstly become aware of them. The first stage of releasing a negative belief around money is awareness. Just aware that, yes, you have negative feelings, or you do have negative beliefs around money, that maybe this came from your parents. I'll almost guarantee you, many of you that have parents that used to worry a lot about money and complain about money. Anyone that's worrying about money, complaining about money, getting caught up about money, fighting about money, these are signs that you have negative beliefs around money. So let's firstly look at some facts about money. Okay, so there's an abundance of money. There's not a scarcity of money. Money is everywhere. I mean, think about it. The government keeps printing it. There's so much money out there, it's ridiculous. There's not a scarcity at all. And really, when we look at money, it's just an idea backed by confidence, right? It's just the piece of paper that we use to exchange money, or these days the debit cards. I mean, it's just an idea. It's just this. I mean, in the old days, they used to use tulips as an exchange for money, and gold and silver and stuff. And so then one day it became a piece of paper that represented money. And this is just, I mean, when you really look at it for what it is, it's just an idea backed by confidence. So if you look at a lot of people that make a lot of money, they've just got an idea, and then they've had the confidence to pull it off. Like this smartphone here is someone's idea, backed confidently by a person or a team of people, to then go and turn it into selling it, which then creates money, right? And so money is just a tool and a theory. It's really quite a bizarre thing. People say that they go around saying don't spend money, and a lot of people build this scarcity mindset around money, that it's something that can be lost. But that's not true. Money is so temporary. It's forever in motion. It's forever being circulated. You don't spend money. That's why I really advise you never to use the word, oh, we're spending money, because think about it. If you're spending it, where does it go? It's not like it disappears off the planet. What's actually happening is it's circulating. It's not going anywhere. It's actually going back into the economy and it's circulating around. This is why I love using the phrase, instead of saying I'm spending money, just change it simply to I'm circulating money. It's very temporary. There's a really big difference between being broke and poor. This is a very important distinction, because if you're poor, it's almost permanent. If you have the assumption that I'm poor, it's permanent. But if you're broke is just temporary. I've been broke quite a few times in my early stages of business. I know what it's like being in significant debt and not having any money around. And for me, it's just temporary. You might have a year or two like that, but with the right open-minded mindset, you can break free of that. And in 6 years, 7 years' time, you can be financially free. I had a client of mine, he actually shared recently to all our clients. His name's Sam Bowden. He's outside of farming, grew up on a farm. But 6 or 7 years ago, he was completely broke, totally on the bankrupt, if you like. But 7 years later, he's now got a net worth over $10 million, purely because he broke. In that moment, it was very painful for him. But he understood that all these beliefs and negativity around money was holding him back. So he was able to really work on his subconscious, on his brain, and come and start a new business. And that new business he built up to a very successful company. And then he was able to sell that company for $6 or $7 million. And as a result, today has a very, very high net worth. So for me, being broke is very temporary, and you can pull yourself out of the ditch very, very quickly with the right mindset and recognizing that maybe it's your thinking that's holding you back around money. So the facts about money can be very different to your beliefs around money, and your beliefs around money are something that you hold to be true, but it's not necessarily true. Okay, so that's the important part that I want to make. Now, so what do we do about this? Well, it's very important that you fix your beliefs around money. In fact, work on changing your beliefs around money. And this is something that doesn't happen overnight. It's very important to understand. Like you spent years building a belief around money. So for example, you might have a big ingrained belief that as a farmer, I have to work really hard to make money. Now, that is not necessarily true. At all. I mean, I've got a couple of clients that I'm working with at the moment that own very successful farms, and they don't spend an hour a week working on those farms. Those farms run independently of them, make a lot of profitability, and the person actually just owns it, right? So they have a team running that farm. So that belief's not true. That's just a belief that was most likely formed from your grandparents and your parents and all the people in your community helped you create that belief. So that belief's going to take you a fair bit of time to undo and to relearn a new belief. And this is why I'm such a fan of getting help and working with a coach and a mentor, someone that can help you spot these negative beliefs or these incorrect beliefs around money, and then help you become aware of them and help you work on them. I mean, I've been coaching for 19 years, but I am constantly still working with people because I just know there's so many things that I can't see. And they pick up on the language that I'm using, and they ask me questions that bring out this, there's always new ones that pop up for me. So I am such a fan of engaging help, because it just makes life so much easier. So that's the first thing is please respect getting help, getting someone to work with you is just so important. If you're a serious student and you really want to improve these things and you really want to break free of these negative beliefs, it's a bit like getting help. Let's say that you, for whatever reason, you try everything to lose weight, but you just can't lose weight, right? There's that time in your life when you realize, I need to go and get some help. I need someone to help me look at why am I eating, or why am I unable to lose this weight? This is all subconscious, unconscious behavior that most likely is stopping that person ultimately losing the weight. And this is one of these favorite sayings of mine: unlearn comes before learn. You have to firstly undo the negative beliefs holding you back in order to move forward. Because as I said before, what a lot of people do is they just think they've got to work harder, and that's not true. I would almost say that's the most crazy thing to do. Working harder it just doesn't matter what you do. If you've got a limiting belief, and that's the key word, it places a limit or a ceiling over what you're able to generate. And I've had multiple of these. And if you could appreciate it, it's these seeds that have been planted that have gone into your subconscious, and it's like it's created a weed. And then you are acting out that belief pattern or that belief system. For example, I have to work really hard to make money. Money comes in one hand and out the other. I struggle to get ahead. And so all you have to do is look at your reality and look at, what's going on with my, am I good at making money? Am I good at holding on to money? Am I good at growing money? And if your answer is no to those questions, then I would almost guarantee you that you have in some way a negative subconscious belief somewhere around money, because I just know this, that our unconscious or our subconscious is responsible for like 97, 98% of our success. So I'm going to now give you some positive belief statements that ultimately this is what you want to end up with. This is what you want your subconscious to be thinking, and not just thinking, it wants to own these beliefs, right? So I'm just going to read them out. Money is everywhere. I love money. I respect money. Money loves me. I love circulating money, and it keeps coming back to me. So I circulate money and it comes back to me in increasing proportions. Right? So you can say this instead of saying I spend money. My money keeps growing. I love investing and growing my money. I'm excellent with money. My business is very profitable. Farming is a very profitable industry, and I love being in it. I don't have to work that hard to make money. I'm good at making money without working that hard. I can have a fantastic lifestyle whilst making great money. Right? So these are beliefs that right now I might say these, and it might really trigger you. And you might be listening to this going, oh, what a load of crap. That's not true. Now, I just invite you to be open-minded, because I can guarantee you that there's some people out there right now that are very comfortable with making money in agriculture and do believe that. Whether you like it or not, there's a portion of people that 100% believe that agriculture is very, very profitable, that you can do very, very well, that they don't have to work very hard to make money at all. That they don't have to work their backside off, that they can enjoy a really comfortable life, having lots of holidays, can comfortably put their kids through school. They've got these beliefs, and because they've got these beliefs, that's what their reality becomes. So a couple of other things that I will invite you to consider is hang out with farmers that have positive beliefs around money and that are actually making a lot of money. I find this very powerful. Often, birds of a feather flock together. Often you may be hanging out with other farmers or other people that have the same beliefs, or maybe even worse beliefs than you. And so people that are always complaining about there not being enough money in agriculture and the government sucks or whatever, it just rubs off on you. So that's why we have one of our programs at Farm Owners Academy is we call it a mastermind, the Platinum Mastermind. It's a community of like-minded farmers that are all working on getting ahead and being more successful and running a more profitable farming business. And it's very, very positive community of individuals, and it just naturally will drag you up. So if you want to find out more about that, we have some spots available and open at the moment. So you can send out an email to support@farmownersacademy.com. And I can tell you now the returns and the profitability within this group is really significantly higher. We've got some farmers in there that are just making extraordinary profit and taking a lot of time out and having amazing lives. And this, they're teaching back into the group how they're able to achieve this. So again, support@farmownersacademy.com if you'd like to find out some more information about our Platinum Mastermind. In addition to that, learn to invest. I just feel it's such an important skill. Let me double check this. I'm pretty sure that there's a webinar coming up by what I believe is the Warren Buffett of Australia. His name's Terry Tran. We're such a fan of him. I just think he's such a great guy to learn from. Where are we? Just bear with me. I think it's The Freedom Trader. Oh, sorry. The Freedom Trader. Yeah, The Freedom Trader / Gee, hang on a second. It's not working. There it is. Yeah, thefreedomtrader.com /farm wealth is the place to go if you want to learn from a guy. He's got a free masterclass to help you as well learn about investing and growing your money. It's just a skill that I really invite you to learn. Last but not least, just remember this, that 98% of your success is subconscious, which is the story or the beliefs that are ingrained into your brain that you're not even aware of, that's controlling your life. So when you learn to understand this, you actually learn that working on that stuff's more important than working harder. So I just invite you to dive into that. But for now, thank you for listening into this. Please share this podcast. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.